Good afternoon, everyone. This is Debbie Henderson from Debbie's Designs. Welcome to my monthly Technique Tuesday class. I'm going to give it a few seconds for everyone to join me. Sorry I'm an hour late. As I put on my Facebook page, I went four-wheeling with Dave this afternoon. We actually ended up having lunch with friends. So I just got home and had time to shower and get ready for my class. So welcome, everyone. I can see you all coming on. So just a few things before I get started. My new hostess code for the month of August. Make sure you use that in the hostess code box when you check out of my online store. And you'll earn some free products from me. This is my free card kit that I'll be sending everyone that places an order through me. You'll get all of the layers and pieces that you see on this card so you can make your own card. And we are still in the extra promotion, which is going on to the end of August. It was 2 months this time. You can actually join my team for $99 and pay, back up. You can actually pick $155 worth of products and only pay $99 with free shipping. It's a great way to stock up, and then you save 20% on all your future orders. So if you have any questions on that, make sure you contact me. And then this is my door prize for the month of August for everyone that places orders with me, and that includes all of my paper pumpkin customers. So today I am doing the color blocking technique, and before I show you the card, I'm going to show you all of the supplies that we need today. We do need the large stamp image from the Good Morning Magnolia stamp set. And then I'm also using the Thinking of You sentiment. We need some white embossing powder, the embossing buddy, Versamark ink. I'm also going to be using my heat tool today. And a few more things, the Stamparatus, the Story Label Punch, and then I have a ton of ink pads. I'm using all sorts of colors today. I'm using Pineapple Punch, Granny Apple Green, Purple Posy, Flirty Flamingo, Pool Party, Mango Melody, Balmy Blue, and Melon Mango. And then I'm also using the Noble Peacock Rhinestone Jewels. Now, in order for me to show you, I'm going to show you the technique, but we need sponge daubers for every ink color that I showed you. So let me show you the card that I'm going to be creating. This is what color blocking looks like. Isn't that pretty? And what happens is we actually emboss the image with white embossing powder. Then we cut into 4 panels and add ink to each panel and then reassemble the card so everything's put together. So I'm going to show you how to do that. For cardstock, we need thick Whisper White 11 by 4 1/4 scored at 5 1/2. Whisper White 4 inches by 5 1/4, a scrap piece for stamping. And then a scrap piece that is a little smaller. So you could go just 1/8 of an inch smaller. We're going to use this to glue to. So let's get started with the stamping and the embossing first. I am using my Stamparatus. I'm just going to stick this right in the center. And then I want to place my flower so I can almost get the whole thing on here. I'm going to grab it with my Stamparatus. The first thing I want to do is add the embossing buddy. Now, if you don't have one of these and you're not really sure what it's for, it's to take out the static on your paper. And it's just like a powder. It's almost like a baby powder. And if you handled your cardstock quite a bit, sometimes you might have greasy fingers. It also takes all the grease marks off. Now I'm going to bring in the Versamark ink my stamp image. So I am going to be making a little bit of noise with the heat tool today because I do have to melt the powder after I put it on. Now I'm going to go ahead and stamp my image. I want to make sure I press nice and hard to make sure that whole thing transfers onto my cardstock. I can see here that it did a really good job. It's all nice and shiny. Now we're going to bring in the white embossing powder. I usually keep mine in a dish so I can keep my cardstock right inside and it doesn't make a mess. I'm just sprinkling that right over the Versamark so you can see that the Versamark grabbed the powder. Now I'm going to make a little noise just for a few minutes while I melt the powder. Once the heat tool heats up really well, it's going to go quickly. And you'll start seeing that turn a bright white. Okay, there we go. You can see the middle is starting to melt. And if you hold it up to the light, you can see that it's nice and shiny when it's melted, so you'll be able to tell when it's all nice and shiny that that means you did it right. Just a few more spots. Okay, now I'm just going to hold it up to the light, make sure everything is shiny, which it is. And the next step is to bring in my paper cutter. And I'm going to actually, this is 4 inches wide, so I'm going to cut it at 2. And then we are 5 1/4. So that means 2 5/8. Just want to make sure this is nice and straight. So now we have 4 pieces. I'm going to put it back together the way it should go, maybe, if I can figure it out. Okay, so you can see there's my flower. Now I'm going to start out with 2 colors. Let me bring the card back in. I'm actually going to swap the colors around so it won't be the same exact color combination. So first I'm going to start out with Balmy Blue and Melon Mango. I'm going to start with this one right here in the top corner. Now, because I used these yesterday to make this card, the sponges might be wet enough, so I'm going to try it without. Okay, this one's pretty dry, so I am going to go ahead and add some ink. And I'm starting right on the top and working my way down. And I'm going to allow that to get lighter as I go, because once I add the second color, we're actually going to mix them. So now here comes the Balmy Blue. And again, I'm going to try without adding ink first to see how dark my sponge is, and it's not dark at all. And you can see where I'm going over the white embossing. The embossing is resisting the ink. Okay, now this is where I really want to work it together so that the 2 colors mix. So there's my first one. And then what I normally do is take a tissue and just wipe to bring out the white of the embossing. So see how pretty that first one is? So now let's move on to number 2. Now this one I'm going to use Granny Apple and Pool Party. So you kind of have to plan your colors ahead of time. And because I'm using 2 blues, this one is going to go right here. So I don't want to add blue down here, blue and blue. So I'm going to start the Pool Party at the top this time. And there's my Pool Party. Again, I'm going lighter on the end. Next is Granny Apple. And again, you can see how the white embossing is resisting the ink. And now where they meet, I'm really going to try to mix those two colors. Okay, there's panel number 2. And again, I'm going to wipe off. And that white embossing really pops when you do that. Okay, there's panel number 2. Next is Purple Posy and Melon Mambo. Now, we did get some good news last week about Purple Posy. The ink is finally perfect. So these will be coming out soon. We're waiting to hear. They had to redo the formula like 3 times before they could get it to come out perfectly. Okay, so Melon Mambo is my next color. Okay, there's Melon Mambo. So now we're going to add the Purple Posy. This color is so pretty. I think I got some Melon Mambo in there. Now these two colors are going to be really pretty when they get to the center here and meet up. Oh, I love that. So again, let's wipe off the white embossing. So there's panel number 3. You do get inky fingers when you're doing this. And my last combination is Flirty Flamingo and Pineapple Punch. Now again, because we have a pink up here, I'm going to add the Flirty Flamingo on the bottom. Even though it's more of a pinkish color. Okay, there's my Flirty Flamingo. And the last one is the Pineapple Punch. I'm gonna have some pop of yellow in there. And this is where they meet. And it's going to create almost like a coral color where they meet. And lastly, we'll wipe this one down. So there's my 4 panels. As you can see, they're different than the first card that I made. So now let me wipe off my fingers so I don't get any of that on the white. I'm going to bring in the card base, and you know what? I need to actually pull this off because there's a lot of ink on here. I don't want that to transfer to my card. So let me put this back the way it should go, like that. Now this is my scrap paper. What I'm going to do is just add a bunch of snail. And it's a little smaller, so I'm going to actually start by making this hang off to the side. It's overlapping a little. So that's how you glue your pieces back together. Just make sure they line up perfectly. Okay, so your flower is put back together. Now, this is the thick Whisper White. And I think I did not glue that down with Stamping Dimensionals. I actually glued it down flat. Okay, so there's that. The last step is going to be to add the sentiment, and I'm going to use the Melon Mambo and Thinking of You with this Story Label Punch. And I am going to glue that in place with dimensionals. I bet you guys thought I was going to do a card without dimensionals. Not going to happen. I need my dimensionals. Right in the center. And lastly, we got to have some bling. Now what I tried to do with the bling, because there's 5 different colors in our Noble Peacock, I matched up the colors to the background. So let's see right here. This color looks really good. And then we've got some pink right here. We've got some yellow. And let me see, I'm gonna add a purple one down here and another yellow one right up here. And there you have it. That's my card for today, showing you guys the color blocking technique. I hope you like my card, and make sure you share my video, because I'll pick somebody to win one of these 2 cards and I'll mail them to the winner. And I will be back live on Sunday with my Step It Up Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. I hope you enjoyed my card for today. Thanks for joining me, everyone. Have a good afternoon.